Oh, hello! Good morning, some of you. Good time zone, the rest of you. Hi, Friday. Hi, May. Hi, Alma. Hi, John. Hello, hello. I have the music down low, just, in case. In case. Hi, friends. We're here. Another delayment in the Tiny Terrors. Good time zone. Good time zone. What a book. What a book. I actually forgot that I hadn't finished it until this morning. Is that out of character for me? No, it's not. Is anyone surprised? No, they aren't. Not at this point. I know, shocking news, really. And then I was sitting down here and I'm like, shit, I forgot my book and all the notes and all the things, so I had to run back upstairs. Anyway, we are going to be talking about October's book, which is Midnight, a novel of terror, which should actually be a novella of terror, but that doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well. Hang on. I was going to see if I could find the synopsis. Okay, yeah, here we go. For those who didn't read it, let me just read the synopsis off of the website. I did not realize from the author of the horror classic Night of the Living Dead. I don't think I knew that, even though it says it right there. A Terror. A Terror by Jack Russo. Yeah. Yes. Children can get away with the murder under the cover of midnight. This is interesting to me because... Well, we'll get into it in a second. But Cynthia and her brothers had heard the stories about Grandpa, who could summon demons and compel people to die with a curse. Maybe they also possessed the ancient powers. At first, they caught smallish demons who would assume the shapes of rabbits and birds, and then larger ones like those who resembled the neighbor kids. Now they are growing, and their powers are swelling, nourished by adult desires. Soon they will gather others like themselves from the earth's dark corners. Soon they will begin the blood-drenched ceremonies performed by one at midnight. Hi, Mariah! I am going to say that I don't think this description quite fits the story that I read. And I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Because yes, this is essentially about a family, and you'll never believe it, in West Virginia, in Hicktown, West Virginia, who does learn that their father was involved in essentially like witchcraft, so to say, but essentially summoning the demon and all this stuff and whatnot. Believing in the demon and putting faith in the demon. Yeah, of course it's West Virginia. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hear thoughts from watching your reactions? It's, yeah. So, that's kind of what it's about, but we follow several different people throughout the story, and I would argue that although it talks about Cynthia and her brothers being the main focus of this description, this story follows Nancy, in my opinion, more so than it follows Cynthia and her family. Like, they end up becoming the bystanders and the action that compels Nancy's story in all of this. So, Nancy... So, yeah, we have Cynthia and her brothers. Their family is enticed into what they call witchcraft. Nancy, on the other hand... Hi, Chris! Nancy, on the other hand, we get her point of view very early on. She is a God-fearing teenager, older teen, who goes to confession. She has had sex with her boyfriend, and this is a sin, so she goes to confession, and then she is sexually assaulted by her stepfather and runs away. Unfortunately, in the act of running away, she runs into the arms of Cynthia and her brothers. And it is more of a story, I think, about Nancy's life, because, I mean, that takes up the first 50% of the book. Is, like, what happened, like, basically how Nancy is, what happens with her and her family, and then her running away are 50% of the book. Before we even get into her being basically captured. Yes, I agree, Friday. So at the very first chapter, when we are getting the point of view of Cynthia and her brothers, and it's their mama. She's only ever referred to as mama throughout this, or mother, or something like that. Basically, she's like, you know, demons can take on the form of anything. And I thought this was going to be a paranormal story for the first few chapters. I was like, oh, we're getting like there's actual demons that are taking on the form of humans, because there's a line at the beginning where Cynthia says, you know, you think that they're human, but you can tell that they're not based on the glint in their eye. And I was like, oh, we're getting like, you know, like some sort of demon that, you know, takes over the body. Or mimics the body. Nope. That's not what we're getting. Sure is not. And so I started to have my doubts a little halfway through when I was like, oh, I think we get a more in-depth version of Cynthia's family. And kind of the fact that these aren't actually demons. These are just humans that they are capturing and killing and then sacrificing, essentially, to Satan. And I was like, oh, okay. Alright. Okay, I get it. I think this novel was trying to use stereotypes at the same time break stereotypes. Because we have the family who are West Virginia. If only it was catch and release. They apparently haven't heard of that. Because we have this redneck family, West Virginia, out in the middle of nowhere, you know, murdering people. And we have what they call him throughout the whole book. Everyone calls him dumb. He's the dumb brother. And that's our stereotype that we get. And all these hillbillies gone crazy, you know? Actually, it's a very large stereotype. Most of your horror books and movies, like Wrong Turn, they tend to look at West Virginia or the Appalachian region, and it's dumb hillbillies, murdering, incest, those things. And it felt like the author was trying to flip that on its head, because one of the brothers is, I'm trying to think of a way of describing, you know, he falls into that stereotype of like the dumb hillbilly. But then the other two are clearly, they got their wits about them. And then the sister, Cynthia, is very intelligent. And she's the ringleader in all of this. So we have kind of a flip on our head that, like, not only are they incredibly intelligent, but it's also a woman leading all this. And I thought that was an interesting spin on that. We also have the, like, yeah, there's very much this discussion about religion, clearly, from the very start of the book till the end. There's a questioning here of Christianity. But at the same time, it's also questioning faith in general, but then it's also pointing at, you know, the complete opposite side of, like, what it's like to just worship. When does worship go too far? Kind of deal. And what is actually good and what is actually evil. Because here we have a lot of God-fearing people within this book that do a lot of bad things. And then we have a lot of bad people doing things that they think are for the good in some cases. And I don't know if the book did it well enough. Like, was trying to take these stereotypes and... Whoa, this is a book discussion! You're allowed to say the spoilers! I just don't know how well the book did with flipping a lot of those stereotypes, in my opinion. Because, yeah, it was interesting, but at the end of the day, it was still a horror story that mostly focused on the horrors that happen to women. Because it's always the horrors happening to women. Yeah, there is at least one man involved in all this. But we don't really, like, there's 4 other men that die. And it's all very sudden to them. But the women... we get to see the torture of them. Over and over. I will say, I guess congrats on a horror story for not going all the way on the, you know, like the trigger warnings for the rape. Talked about it a lot. Guess it's a good thing we didn't actually go there. I kept, like, waiting for it. Because that's what horror books love to do. But my god, I would just love to see a horror book that doesn't focus on the torture of women for once. Yeah, the reporter guy. He was the only one where we really got to see some of that. And at the end of the day, it's because he had, like, the sexual desire to conquer Cynthia. Found the ending when they were in cages. The woman said to Nancy something like, "You're praying just like them out there." Yeah. Yeah, so Nancy this whole time, she has given up. She's given up the moment she's captured, and there's 2 other women, and, you know, they are trying to they're trying to figure their way out. But Nancy has given up, and she's just praying at this point, and at the end, you know, you have the chanting of the Satanists, essentially, and then the chanting of Nancy to God, and they're both very similar, and we have that parallel side by side. And we have Gwen in the middle, as she is about to die, basically going, "You both sound essentially mad." And I did like, I think there was a good many parts of the story where I was like, that's like a really interesting picture to draw. And part of me gets it, but I feel like there were so many other elements of the story getting in the way that I don't know if it always came across what it needed to. Like, it took so long for Nancy to run away, and then she's doing all these things. And then she gives up. And then then we're trying to have a religious discussion at the end. Yes, this one it is about a cult. I will say I have no clue why it is called Midnight. Because even though the synopsis says, children can get away with murder under the cover of midnight, they don't ever do anything at midnight. I don't think anything ever happens at midnight. It seems to mostly be during the day. But essentially, Cynthia creates quite a name for herself. I did pick 2 cult books back to back by accident. Apparently I did. Because Cynthia creates quite a name for herself. And people flock there now. It's Easter is coming, and they're getting ready to do this big ritual where they sacrifice 3 young girls. And people have come all over the country who follow Cynthia and are part of this cult, essentially, the secret cult. And they are there to partake, and apparently also have an orgy. Because what's a cult without an orgy? Yeah, the title and the synopsis make me feel like it was almost supposed to be a totally different book. Good night, John! It felt like it almost became something completely different of what maybe was planned. Yeah, okay, so, for those who did watch me read this the other day, there's a character in this who I think we are supposed to recognize as the true evil of this story. And he comes from the God-fearing family. And it's the stepfather. He is the one originally, first of all, one of the things he talks about is like he's older, he has let himself go, you know, he's not very attractive. But then a breath later talks about how upset he is that his wife let herself go after marrying him, and that he just can't really have sex with her anymore. Happy's a cat. It's not this. No, it's not the same book at all. It's not the same book as I feel like what the synopsis sells. So the stepdad, he thinks Nancy is just this hot young thing, and that she is just flaunting herself at him. So he's a drunk, and he gets drunk, and he comes home, and he assaults Nancy. Nancy beats him up. She knocks him out, and instead of thinking of literally anything else to do, she decides to run away right then and there. It's wild. Nancy doesn't have a lot of brain cells, I'm gonna admit. But that's what I was reading. When you all were watching my facial expressions, that's what I was reading, and I was like... Yeah, and then he was convinced it was Nancy's fault. So then... what he does is Nancy runs away. He lies about the fact that, like, he basically, the wife comes home, she's, you know, what's going on? And so he lies and says that Nancy was seducing him. And the mother is even like, but she's run away. And then he lies about hearing from Nancy, even though she, essentially at this point, we know she's in danger, but he's just like kind of whatever. And then once he finds out that she is actually gone, he's just trying to smooth things over with his wife. But the whole time he's thinking, maybe she'll stay gone, so like I don't have to deal with her anymore. And then, just when you're like, oh, okay, he's actually like maybe gonna turn this around for himself, he finds Nancy locked up in this cult. Sees her locked up, realizes something bad's probably gonna happen, and leaves. And he goes home and tells his wife she's fine. She'll come home eventually, probably, but she's run away and no one can find her. Yeah, he watched them bury a body. He like knew that they were essentially going to kill her. And his first thought was, oh good. Problem solved. And this is one of those moments where you're like, the bad people win. And I guess that was supposed to be one of the things that it talks about, because it's like, would your God let so many bad things happen to you, essentially? And this is like one of those things where it's like, God has given Nancy over and has saved the stepdad. He was thinking outside. He sure was, wasn't he? He let someone else just handle it, you know? Oh God, I was like, maybe this is his redemption arc. Not that it was gonna go very far, you know, but maybe he has some redeeming qualities. No, he doesn't. He's a piece of shit. The worst part is at the beginning, him and his buddy, like, pull over these young couple that are, like, getting it on in their car. And him and his buddy are like, we could have had sex with her. And it's like, you all just described how totally unattractive you are. You're old. Okay. Sure, Jan. The audacity. The absolute audacity. Yeah, that's why I kept waiting for the R assault to happen throughout it, because I felt like we had been led into thinking that was very much on the table. And it is talked about a lot. But it never does go that far. Thankfully. But I still am sick of reading about the torture of women. And I am happy that this didn't have a ton of details about any other torture other than the sacrifices. Like, I think this did a good job of, you knew gory things were happening without fully explaining the gore. And I did like that, because I feel like not a lot of horror books think that you have to explain every gory, horrible detail. And you don't. To get the point across, you really don't. And then did agree, and I was like, this man is corrupting oh my god, yes. The stepdad was, nasty. He was a nasty man. Absolutely nasty. There wasn't a lot of thinking. There was a few parts in this book where I was like, this doesn't make, like, is no one thinking this through? Like, what's going on? Nancy hitchhikes immediately, by the way. She leaves, hitchhikes, gets picked up by some guys, then they're like, oh, we have to rob a grocery store. And not just, like, for the things we need. We have to rob a whole cart of things at the grocery store. Then we're going to make camp in the middle of the woods. There was just a lot of yeah. And then there was, like, this family has been killing people, and yet no suspicion has come upon them. Yeah, this book was How to Show the Horror Without Going Too Far. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I feel like I'm doing a lot of negative talk about this book. And a lot of it is more so about the characters within this book. But I think it's not so much, I don't want this to reflect on the writing of this book. I do think this book did need another editor to look through some of it. There were some mistakes here and there that I came across, and just some, like, pacing issues and things like that. But for the most part, I thought that the story itself was interesting. Other than a few, like, stereotypical things. But, I mean, you have that in every book. And I thought it was compelling enough that I was like, you know, I know to some degree what's going to happen here. But I can't look away. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't another them. I hated the characters, but I didn't look at the author for the hate. I wasn't like, what is wrong with you? This was very much like, I get what they're going for, and I do think at the end of the day, this was supposed to be some sort of, like, discussion about religion and good and bad, and, you know, what are both sides corrupted and what's too far. But I think for the most part, like, it was pretty well done. I think there were times where I thought some things were a little unnecessary. Like, we get a good bit of Gwen's backstory that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know why we needed Gwen's backstory. Like, a full backstory. Like, about her ex-husband and all this stuff when it doesn't really matter. That part felt a little odd. Just, like, certain things like that felt, again, maybe just, like, another editor. But for the most part, like, I think that this did it well in that, like, we get the horror without too many of the details. Like, we understand what's happening. The ending of it, where you're kind of trying to hold out hope. As you do with most horror stories, you're holding out hope. And I think that's exactly what the author wants with the ending of this. For anyone who did read it, there isn't a clear ending written out. It is more of a, it's not quite open-ended. It's just, we basically, it was a movie, apparently. They turned this into a movie. I feel like now we need to watch it. But they turned this into a movie. But say, like, we're watching this ritual, this crazy ritual going. This orgy is happening, and it pans to Nancy, who's the last one left. And basically, the screen goes black. So we don't have a clear idea of, like, what actually happens to Nancy, because they're saving her for last. We have an assumption of what they do, but we don't actually know. We just assume that they kill her. I quite liked that ending because, like, you basically know she's going to die. But you still have this hope. There's just, like, this hope against all. And I think that, above all, is what the book was trying to compel. That when it comes to faith, no matter what, there is this hope against all. Some of the religious stuff was a little over the top. Some of it was in your face. Like the fact that Cynthia, her brothers are all named from people in the Bible, but the names don't actually correlate to their type of character at all. Like, they're just pulled from the Bible with no real reason. So I think there were other parts that maybe could have been incorporated into better, but like for the most part, I think it was supposed to be like there's still this faith, something might happen. Doesn't have a clear ending. It's a 1-star for me. See, I love a good ambiguous ending. Like, I think one of my favorite endings of all time is Catherine House, which is a very ambiguous ending. But I think that's fair. I think there are people who very much do not. Yeah. Hi, CO! Yeah, they gave her a gift card, a handmade birthday card, and offered her a glass of water. Yeah! I think the ending was clear. She was dead. That's the thing. I think, like, we gather enough information to know that she is going to die. But the author, skips out on it just enough that I think you think that maybe something will happen. Despite the fact that everything leading up to this, yeah, no one's looking for her anymore. They're not looking for her. They're done. Okay. The last thing I'm gonna ask before I ask you all the things. How you felt, will you rate, all those things. Did y'all think that Mama was dead before it was revealed? I knew it. I knew it the moment that... I think it's once we know that they're older, like, you're a little unsure a few times where in the years of age that Cynthia and them are. But when they're like, Mama's been quiet these days, I'm like, oh, Mama's dead. Mama's dead, and they got her dead body sitting in that room. Surprised you? Yeah, I was like, Mama is dead. Are living on a farm, living there. I mean, they were living on a farm to some degree. I don't know if it was the best life. I assume Mama was dead. And this is the one thing that I think the author points at to let us know that Cynthia and them believe, the demon is at work. And I think to some degree you are supposed to suspect that they, do have some sway with Satan. But this whole ritual is to keep Mama alive, like, forever. But we know she's dead. And this is the one thing I think the author gives us to let us know that this is a hoax. This is not a paranormal world. This is not, you know, a world where Satan actually comes up and helps seduce people to the dark side. These are just crazy religious nuts. It gave you little hopes before taking away. Yeah, the report was going to go to this place. The dad was looking and kept hope that Nancy might be saved. Yeah. Yep, no. I was annoyed that Nancy became helpless in the end. Like, she just kind of gave up. Yeah, the knife. There was a few parts that were a bit, I think, anticlimactic. There were other parts where we got a little history info dump that I felt was a little unnecessary. There was definitely a few areas where you keep getting these, like, okay, this person's gonna come in. Oh, we got this person now, and, like, they're gonna come in. Oh, wait, no, this person. And... yeah. And I think even Cynthia, or maybe it's Gwen, looks at her and is like, your God is not going to save you. You gotta save yourself in this world. But yeah, the moment I knew Mama was dead, I was like, I know where this is going. It's like is Grandpa dead in the Texas Chainsaw movies? Or am I just making that up? Because he looks dead in the video game. Can't actually tell if Grandpa's alive or dead in those movies. Okay, yeah. Or in the games, because I haven't really seen the movies. I'm going to look up this movie. I am rating this A Night of Terror, I think is what the movie's called. But I think I rated this, it was either a 3.5 or a 4. Despite how much I've kind of, like, shit on some of the things. I've definitely shit more on the characters than the writing itself, I feel like. Because this was an interesting story. And it has its quirks, you know? But I do think that it did a good job of not going too far. I think it did a good job of not falling too deep into stereotypes. It felt interesting. Showed many shades of evil. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, Friday. I do think they need to rewrite the synopsis. Because I do not think it works for that. Still alive, but barely breathing. What? What is it? What's the movie called? Movie? Is it just called Midnight? From 82? Didn't glamorize certain things. I guess it didn't. You could tell that torture was not a kink. Can't say the same for some other books that we've read. I found one from 82. When did this book come out? Okay, this book was published in 80. I don't think I realized that this felt much more modern. I didn't realize this was published in 1980. Yeah, I don't care for this cover, to be honest. This cover is not... I don't really like this one. I don't really know what it's trying to say here. Is this Cynthia? I don't... There's just a lot happening here. This... Let me see if I can... I don't think I... There we go. This is the original cover, which is actually the cover that enticed me to pick this book. Yeah, damsel in distress, like, paranormal, I don't even know what. But this is the cover that originally enticed me to pick the book. And I did want something that might have been a little older, but this felt very modern. when reading it. And so I think I like that one. So Midnight. Because this says a young woman fleeing her abusive stepfather hitches a ride with two men and they end up in the clutches of a satanic cult. Yes. Some critics say it's a well-made, low-budget horror film, but others say it's not scary and lacks humor. I don't ever think during this I wanted it to be humorous. Not once was I like, you know what? I wish this was a humorous movie. Or a humorous thing. I mean, yeah, but I don't ever think that this was one. Okay, hang on. You know, oh, these screen caps, though. They're, oh, there's the trap. Interesting. So we do know it takes some creative liberties here. This isn't the film? Yeah, it is. Because it has interview with... Yeah, Jack Russo is the author. There they are. There's Mama. I think this is the only one for this movie, or for this book. Oh my god, that is a boob. Oh my god. Well, I can't look at that. Can't be looking at that here today. I feel like now we have to watch it. Someone has to watch it for science. Oh yeah, it does look like there are a lot of movie posters that were made of it here. Got that full screen release. I'm assuming that's Cynthia. We have the brothers. Oh, there's a 2020 movie now. Someone did a remake? Stop. Stop. I don't know. I think we need to watch this one. Oh, Mama's here. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that eyeliner, girl. Look at that eyeliner, girl. Is this Nancy? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did I recognize that skeleton? Looks just like Harold. Okay, I don't want... Oh, there's a suitcase. We don't even need to watch the movie. Someone took screen caps of everything. Just all these ads in between. There's the two guys that pick her up. Yeah, this is just stop motion. And he's all like, you know, she's bad news, man. And he's like, no way. This is back before every actor had, veneers. People had, like, real teeth. There's Harriet. Oh, look at those cupboards. Oh. There's a grocery store that they rob. You know, I was thinking, I was like, it's so weird because at one point the reporter goes to go to the hotel and they tell him it's $10 a night. And I had totally forgotten when this was published. And I was thinking, $10 a night? What a crap hole. Where? Oh, there's a preacher? I don't know what this... God, I'm so fucking triggered by a red hat at this point. Oh my god. Yeah, the place must have been shit. Yeah. I don't remember this part. We go to... Oh. Yeah, this is different. Okay, so this takes a little bit of a spin. So this couple doesn't exist within the book. But we do know that someone... This is one of the brothers, and he's carrying a dead body. At some point, when our traveling group runs into him. Not the ad, like every other freaking picture. Okay. So, I'm confused. What? Like, I don't fully understand that, but it's fine. Maybe it gives like a backstory to the original woman that they steal, because they actually do steal another woman, but they kill her by accident before they need to kill her. Yeah, I think they added it a bit more. This is the part that is in the book. He's just carrying a dead body. You know, just out in the middle of nowhere, carrying a dead body. This looks like a scene that I would film in my backyard. Oh no! What could it be? Oh dear! Not his hair stuck to the branch. Yeah, it's just laundry. This is not how I imagined. A little bit. Yeah, it's just laundry day. This is kind of a little bit, but not really. Okay. We're probably gonna get some fake blood here as a warning. Yeah, they do say, I will say, anyone who is interested in this, they do say a lot of slurs here in this section. And what's interesting to me, again, not realizing that this was written in the 80s, the officer says to the black character about kneeling on him and killing him in the 80s. So, you know, times haven't changed as much as we want them to. Yeah, anyway, now that we've seen that dude nearby, let's have a picnic, yeah. Oh, she's totally hidden, right? She's totally hidden. So anyway, they just end up, you know, killing them. Oh no! Hi Tyler. This whole horror movie that they made with it? Oh, I'm sorry you have to work. Oh, okay, so here... Cynthia... My red fit. Ain't this nice? Oh my. Oh, these are, okay, the police officers. Oh, there's the cages. Yeah, they keep them in cages. Okay, I do want to see, like, the very end part with, like, the ritual. Oh, there's Mama! Not Mama! I don't think she's doing so hot. I also don't know if that's what a decomposed body looks like. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, this part looks a little different. Mama do be looking rough. Oh, and there comes stepdad. Okay, here. Not the skeleton in the back. Who filmed this in my living room? Yeah, Mama just needs a bath and a cold beer. She'll be fine. There she is. Okay, so I take it that's Gwen, Mama. I don't know what the laws were back then when it came to, like, nudity in movies, but, the women are in their bras for, like, the majority of the book. Oh my god! I'm dead! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Amazing acting happening there. That's exactly, yeah. I got it. That's it, yeah. Oh, I'm dying. The belt on the head. The, like, weird little fake-looking candles. Well, she seems to look a little bit better upon fake dying, somehow. I just love how fake, just how fake the blood looks as well. Okay, here he comes. Wait! Wait a minute. Was his name Bob? Bill? I can't fucking remember his name. Did they give this man a redemption? Wait just a darn minute. Well, he dies, which is what he... Oh, they get... This is a totally different ending! Why does it look like he's dancing? What the heck? They made her into a final girl! Now, why did they do that? Now, what in tarnation did they do that? Okay, hang on. Jack Russo. Let's see if it is 2021. Known for... Not the Scream Queen's Naked Christmas. Yeah, but I thought it would still have it listed here as, like, his movie credits. Some sort of credits. No. Okay. Midnight. It's just called Midnight, right? Hang on. I'll go here. So I can open up Friday's message. There was a Midnight 2? Based on the best-selling novel by Jack Russo, directed by Gary Lee Vincent. Okay, this one sounds way better. This synopsis: Nancy, a teenage girl, runs away from home, hitchhiking to Virginia to stay with a friend. Well, that's not quite right. She is picked up by a couple on a camping trip. Also not quite right. The trip turns deadly when the campers are attacked by a group of crazed Satanists hell-bent on resurrecting their dead mother. Close enough. Yeah, give me one moment. Give me one moment. Midnight 2020. Midnight teen horror. Let's watch the trailer, everybody. Yeah. Oh, I'm not. Sorry. I actually am old enough. Oh, let me turn on desktop audio for you. Born in 2024.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Oh God. Oh God.
2 years since my last confession.
We thought we could give you a ride, no strings attached. That way you could avoid these lunatics.
Are you saying
This was filmed on an iPhone.
Yes, Father.
If I could ride with you as far as you're willing to take me, that'd be great.
Yeah, hop in.
Can you believe I finally went to confession?
Church is the opiate of the masses. You'll learn stuff that will open your mind.
We really do only live a couple of miles up the road. It's next to Oakmont Cemetery.
What sin were you afraid to tell?
She's not the angel that you
That's
think
like
she
literally
is.
what happened.
Good Lord. How many?
Chris, is that a movie or a book?
You could burn in hell.
Ew.
You could go to hell forever for this one sin. And if you go to hell, you're gonna burn like that forever. And
Hi, Tian. It's
flames, they just
something.
burn and burn and burn. They never go out.
Didn't you hear what it said? People's dying around here.
And I renounce all my sins because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But mostly because they have offended thee, my God, who are all good and deserving of all of my love.
What is that? What was that? What the fuck was that? Hold up. What is that? That's where the whole budget went. Stop it.
I ask you to amend my life.
Oh, that's where it all went. Right there. Right to the special effect. Oh my god. Amazing stuff right there, honestly. Absolutely amazing. Does this say where this was filmed? So they talk about West Virginia. It takes place in West Virginia. Oh, John was in it. They let John be in it. I wonder how he felt about it. They filmed it in West Virginia. I was gonna say, was it in Wheeling? They kept talking about these places, and I have been to these places that they were talking about in the book. So it was very easy for me to picture so much of it. Midnight 2025. Oh, Midnight 2, right there it is. Oh yeah, it has John as the writer, which I thought. Wonder why we didn't see it on his page. Truly, truly something. 2 user reviews. What did the reviews say? Hammy redo of John Russo's cult slasher from the early 80s. Oh my god, this budget was May, you weren't kidding? It was 300,000? I thought you were kidding. Which is about the same amount if you oh my god, so it was about the same as 70,000 back in the day. Film for the CGI demons and title card. Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god. It's the same story, the same spare change, budget production, but this one... Okay, fuck off. This one kept my interest more simply due to winsome, some blah blah blah. For a better horror flick, check out the slasher. Yeah, okay. It was shot in Fairmont and Bridgeport, West Virginia. I have been to those places. Hi, Leanne! This movie is killer! Not the 10 out of 10 review. Was totally blown away. It was like an 80s slasher made recently. It's brutal and original. I only learned later it was a remake of a Video Nasty. What does that mean? A Video Nasty from the 80s? Starts off with a group, it's crazy. You can't stop watching. Oh. To his redeeming credit, no! I was shocked to find out that the novel was more bleak than the film. The film does leave you with some hope where Nancy is left in the cage to die, and then, wow, just fucking spoil it! Oh my, yeah, this review got so many downvotes. People are like, what the hell? Is my name on the Video Nasty? Is that your next Steam name? Video Nasty is British slang for offensive movie? Friday, why didn't you tell us that? Oh my gosh. Okay, Midnight 2. The surviving member of a devil-worshipping family uses a camcorder to videotape himself murdering young women. Doreen's girlfriend of one of his victims goes to a detective to find her friend. Okay, you remember how I said I liked that this novel didn't deal with just the torture of women and didn't go there? I'm rethinking you, John. I'm rethinking. Okay, I'm rethinking it. So wait, who was the surviving... Abraham was the surviving... Oh god, he's like... Okay, whatever. Yeah, Abraham's back and he's making America's grisliest home videos. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This book, or this movie, is being sold as part of a young filmmaker's career starting package? of John Russo's filmmaking seminar? More badness from Russo. Oh my god. Oh, I just saw it's called Sex, Death, and Videotape. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure. Oh, it's under snuff film. Interesting that it's under snuff film. The title is horrible. Truly. Okay, well, who knew? I wasn't expecting this to have such a, like, rabbit hole of things around it. That is truly something. Truly I have so many fucking windows open right now. What am I doing? We have movies to add. I am gonna look to see how much, and maybe I'll make time within the next 2 weeks to anyone who wants to watch it. I feel like I have to watch it at this point for science. All right, anyone who did read this book, how did you like it? Even without knowing all this stuff, I did think it was an entertaining book. I think it had things to say. I don't know how well it said them. But I thought it was entertaining. Probably like a 3.5. I don't know about a 4, but maybe a 3.5. But I do think this is one of the better ones that we've read so far. Truly think this is my new favorite so far. That's good. I think it did a good job of, I knew going into this, I was nervous that this was going to be another Them situation where this was going to be like extreme horror, but I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. Anyone who didn't read this, would you read this? Knowing what we have said. Besides all the giggles, besides all the, you know, hate for the stepfather, do you think you would read this? A solid 3. There we go. Yeah. I think it was fine. I think it did what it needed to. Probably would read, Devil Watch the movies. When the dad went home, I still was like, I know, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You know, I will say I didn't see that coming. It's hard for me to have a moment that I don't see coming, but that was a moment where I did not see that coming. So I have to give it props for that. Alright, for those who don't know, so technically November's book is When I Look at the Sky, All I See Are Stars. I think May accidentally read this already, which is fine. And I believe they said it was also another cult book. So this is Dr. Rachel Hagendorf. Has seen it all. Can't wait to discuss that name over and over. Psychiatrist who's always prided herself on connecting to the patients who have been brought to the facility, no matter how difficult or closed off they are. That is until David arrives. May's rating. Oh, at first she listens to what David has to say, how he claims to be 400 years old and possessed by a demon. She diagnoses him as having multiple personalities and approaches his treatment as such. But as their time together continues, David begins to share details he shouldn't know and begins to lash out violently when Rachel brings in her colleague, Dr. Dravendash. David's behavior escalates, so it's not long before they begin to wonder if David just might be telling the truth. That's that he's possessed by a demonic presence, and it wants out. A visceral, edge-of-your-seat novella. When I Look at the Sky, All I See Are Stars is everything you expect from 2-time Splatterpunk nominated. So this is going to be gory. Frantic pacing, hooves and horns, and the growing dread that what lies beyond this plane is a land filled with ash and a place we never want to visit. I know May had already said that they did not enjoy this, so Splatterpunk is a fun word. It's next level fucked up. It will probably be something y'all would enjoy. I don't know what that means. Oh, the author joined a cult to... Okay. Okay. What? That's gonna be something fun to discuss. Okay, interesting. Then the other thing, I haven't announced it, but December, we're switching up how Tiny Terrors is gonna run a little bit. And we're going to read the book and discuss it within the same month, starting December. So technically, I have 2 book discussions scheduled for December. So we're going to talk about When I Look at the Sky, All I See Are Stars. But then December's book is going to be... I think it's called The Visitor. Can I find it? Is it just called Visitor? Hang on. Camp Slaughter. Can I type? Not Camp Slather. Sergio also wrote a... Yep, The Visitor. Yeah, the Animorphs book. Join a online call for 2 years to write this? Oh my god. Actually love horror. Oh, dipping my toes in it, so I was just saying if anyone likes it, then it will be you. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. This one... I don't know. I don't know which way this one could go from Sergio. Sergio has done some gory stuff. But I think this one is more paranormal, I want to say. So this is going to be our December book, and I think I have it planned for the weekend right before or when Christmas would fall. So, Sergio is also a booktuber, or at least was at some point. I haven't looked in a while to see if they've added any videos recently, so... I believe they're a booktuber. Did I just lie about that? I'm like having a brain fart now. Anyway, that's gonna be our December book. Actually, you know what I'll go ahead and do? Add to reading challenge. Tiny Terrors Book Club. That's gonna be our December one. Anyway, thank you guys for following along with the chat, even if you didn't read it. I especially love that you're here to hang out. I appreciate it. I know that this is a super niche book club, and so I appreciate anyone who joins, hangs out, does whatever when it comes to it. You guys are lovely humans. I love having you around and discussing books with y'all. It sounds like we're gonna have a lot of interesting things to discuss if it comes down to learning about the things the author did to write about a cult. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your weekend. I'll be live on Twitch tomorrow, 11 a.m. EST with Mariah. We're going to be looking at ducks in the duck game. And we're going to be doing sprints. I don't have a schedule thingy. I probably should, shouldn't I? I don't even think I have one on Twitch. I also love that we love different things, and that there's normally someone who loves these things and someone who hates them every single time. You guys are lovely. You're amazing. I don't actually know if most of the commands work here, to be honest. But my links are down below. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see who I see tomorrow. Thank you again. Mwah! And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye!